Welcome back, my big dogs. In today's video, we played with the owner of Lyra.
What made you want to start Lyra? Or, fuck, I think I still said it wrong. So as I say in most of these clips, I can't capture Discord audio, unfortunately, but his reason was that he was in the House of Greatsword and it died. Which made him want to venture off and kind of start his own thing. He did recruit a few members out of the House of Greatsword, hence why he's a Greatsword player. He did tell me that he placed top 100 in BCX. I'm not sure if it was exactly top 100, but that was his answer. And as you could probably see, I don't know if I included this part. He did have a level 100 Negan, as you can see right here, that gold little nice nameplate thing. Something. Yeah, you guys know what I meant. Yeah. Another question I asked him was when he started Lyra, and he said in April 2024. After this, I asked him when he started Brawlhalla, and he said in January 2021, which I feel like is like the peak time to start Brawlhalla. I started in like 2022, but I feel like Brawlhalla was definitely at its prime around those times. Some would argue that the prime is right now, but I feel like the game itself is dying in the current state it's in. But with the new updates, it's definitely going a lot better than I feel like people are making out to be. Now, a lot of people ask me, why do I do these videos of me 1v1ing these players knowing that I'm going to get destroyed? Anybody can click on the video and probably tell that an 1800 is going to get demolished by a 2400. It's nothing new, it's nothing complicated, it's just the basis of what it is. The reason why I make these videos and the reason why I include these specific players that are a lot better than me rather than an evenly matched opponent is because I usually ask them about tips and tricks about either the weapon they play, about things to do to get out of platinum, and most of my channel's content involves coaching. You might not be able to tell that from like looking at the thumbnail or something like that, but if you made it this far into the video already, this channel is mainly for coaching and other stuff involving Brawlhalla. Another big thing I do on this channel is interviewing these players. Now the reason why you can't hear their voices is just because I am on console and I can't capture Discord audio, as I said at the start of the video. That does not mean I will not do a voiceover, even if the voiceover is a little choppy sometimes. I do try. I write down all the answers that he gives me, and I go off of that and what else he's told me in general. I do plan on getting a laptop here in about a week or two, so probably in the further future you'll probably hear a lot of these players' voices, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would enjoy that rather than just hearing me yap the entire video. But, yeah, without further more, let's get back to the interview. What is Lyra about? He said it's pretty laid back, it's pretty chill. It's a place that people can go that just want to chill. The requirement to join is 1800, but he has let that slide quite a few times. He doesn't really care too much about who joins and why they want to join or anything like that. If you guys want to join a nice guild with that nice purple title and a nice, number next to it and whatnot, Lyra is the place to go. He's not enforcing the rules like crazy. He's not dictating what you guys do. And there is a lot of clan battles that go on, to my knowledge. He was telling me about a few of the clan battles that he's done, and some of the other guilds that he's had beef with that I'm not going to list. But if you guys want to join a pretty laid-back, relaxing guild that isn't too, rage-inducing or just terrible in general, Lyra is the place to go. Now, the next question I asked him was how to approach a greatsword player, because he is a 2450 peak, I think, greatsword player. I know he plays a lot of twos. He's more so a twos player than a ones player, so I'm surprised he agreed to doing the 1v1, and twos will be later on in this video. But furthermore, as like an overall,
he said to bait out an attack and treat it kind of like blasters. Like with blasters specifically, it's a very technical weapon. When they do side light or something like that, you can wait for the attack and then you can punish it, which is the gist of what he was saying. A lot of people will mash on greatsword and throw out attacks randomly, and when they do that, you could kind of just wait, and when they throw those out, just attack. It's probably the best way to fight a greatsword player, and that was his advice. Now, what not to do against a greatsword player is dodge. That is all he said. And then the next answer is kind of funny. The next question I asked him was what to do against a greatsword player, and he said mix up the dodges. So I'm assuming the gist of that was to not dodge in. I know that's one of the
most common advice I've got going against Greatsword, asking what I can do, because I've been utterly destroyed against Greatsword, and as you guys know, if you guys watch any of my other videos, I do play a lot of guitars. And going against a Greatsword player is not fun, because I have to be up close, and every time I get up close, and I get absolutely mashed on by a Greatsword, I sometimes panic dodge, and when you panic dodge in, that's when they catch it, and that's when your stock is pretty much gone. Now, for anybody that wants to pick up Greatsword or learn how to play the weapon specifically, the one tip that he gave me when I asked him was to not mash. And a lot of Greatsword players, when they pick up the weapon, the first thing they think of is, okay, I'm going to smash my square button or whatever you use to attack with. And his advice was to not mash, wait to attack. When you see an opening, like a lot of these clips, you can see him kind of waiting for me to, like, do something specific, like right there, he caught my read, he caught my dodge, and, you know, I got obliterated. And if you want to play Greatsword like that, don't mash, kind of wait, be more patient with your attacks, and, you know, then you can play like him and obliterate people, or like Money Hollow or somebody like that plays Greatsword. I can't think of too many Greatsword players, but I try to avoid Greatsword at all costs. Doing this video is very lethal to my mental state, but it's okay. I asked him who his best player was inside of Lyra, and he said Gore, which is 2600 player. And then the next question I asked him was what his favorite player in the esports scene was. And he said Use, which is the first time I've heard somebody say that. I've heard a lot of people say that they like watching Kaina play, or somebody like that. Use is probably the first time I've heard somebody say Use, so that was different. I think that was it for my questions. So, without further ado, let's get into the 2's gameplay. Because it didn't look like that originally. I just tried to re-edit it, and when I uploaded it and went back to check it, it looked wrong. 3, 2, 1, brawl! If you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I will be linking all of his socials down into the description, so make sure to go check out his channel, and if you want to join Lyra yourself, I will leave a link for the Discord as well. So, without further ado, I really hope you guys do enjoy the 2's gameplay. These were the gist of the games. We absolutely dominated, and ignore the fact that I'm getting actually penetrated right at the start of the 2's gameplay. But that's not the point. I actually did very much enjoy doing this video, because it's not every day that I do a video with a Greatsword player specifically. I feel like they receive a lot of hate, but doing this video was very fun. Very nice guy. I had no issues with him. I'm sure there's somebody that might feel differently, or there might be somebody that agrees with me. I was just talking to somebody and they knew him, and they said that he was their boy and whatnot. So, as far as I know, he sounds like a really great dude. I feel like people do associate people with their guild a lot, and that's the big thing about guilds. When you're in a guild and you start causing drama with other people that don't really know your guild, but they know you, most of the time they associate your guild with you. So when you're out here making issues or just doing things that are aren't very good to represent your guild, it's not a good thing. So when you are in a guild and people don't know your guild very well, try your best to represent them well. It could be the fact that you're good at the game, it could be the fact that you guys are a nice community, but when you guys are out here being toxic, nobody knows you, and that's what you represent your guild as. Most of the time, people associate their guild owner with toxicity because of certain guild members. So, just keep that in mind. Not to go on a whole spiel about toxicity. Keep a loving community. And if you guys do enjoy these videos, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, of course, as I just said. And leave a comment as to what you want to see next. I always listen to my viewers, and if you guys do want to see some videos with viewers, just let me know down in the comments as well. So for the quote of the day, growth is not linear. Everyone's path to the top will have dips and dives, but how you continue to adapt and evolve throughout is what will separate you from any other person. I actually really like this quote, and this is probably the longest quote I've ever gotten from just doing any of these videos. I do try to ask every person I do a video with what their quote of the day is, and this quote was by far one of the longest. I'm not really sure how to get a deep dive into that specific quote, just because a lot of people give simple answers, and it's just something, okay, I can go off of this because it's a small answer. You got really in depth with that answer, and I feel like that applies to a lot of things. Obviously, not just Brawlhalla. I don't even think he was talking about Brawlhalla, but when you look at the quote of the day, you kind of just think it's a quote. But every word has meaning, whether or not it's bullying somebody online. Those words have meaning to them. I mean, not as much to you, or if it's just simple words. A lot of words can be interpreted in any way. Somebody could come up to you and tell you, hey, you look great today. And those are just words to them, maybe. But to you, those could be everything. Or somebody could come up and tell you, your shoes look ugly. And those words could hurt. Every word has meaning. And when you put a quote to it, they're very deep and meaningful. Which is why I enjoy putting these into most of my videos. Just because a lot of people don't really... I don't know, a lot of people just go on with their day, they don't consider words, they don't consider a lot of things. And I feel like life could be a lot simpler if you just consider certain words. It doesn't matter what it is, and I know I'm probably wording this pretty horribly, but, you know, if you considered what you say, if you considered what you wore throughout the day, if you really put thought to everything you do, of course you wouldn't be living life as well, but I'm sure if you put thought to those little things, a lot of things will be better in life for you. And I don't mean overthinking. When you overthink things, it kind of complicates life. It kind of makes things harder. But when you just think about it simply, do I look good today? And the answer will pop right up in your head. And don't overthink it, because when you overthink it, that's when the insecurity shows. Or even if you're really confident, you can just be like, yeah, I look fucking good today. And that's a good mindset to have. As long as you don't get egotistical, that's not a good mindset to have. Speaking of the topic of ego, I feel like a lot of people in the Brawlhalla community have an ego. But in my own personal opinion, I do very much enjoy psychology and certain things like that regarding that aspect. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I do think everybody has an ego. But I don't think that everybody necessarily egos everybody around them or something like that. I just mean everybody has an ego in some sense. I don't think it's bad to have an ego either. Ego, a lot of the times people correlate ego with self-importance, which, yes, it is a part of an ego. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not. But I feel like a lot of people say, okay, well, when you think of yourself as very important, it's a bad thing. It's not really a bad thing, per se. I feel like a lot of people perceive it as a bad thing because it can be annoying if you're only talking about yourself and you're only valuing yourself rather than other people's opinions. Of course, they're going to think you're annoying, and that's just in a general sense. Of course, there's a lot of people that will say their opinion and vocalize it more than others, and when somebody else says their opinion, you just don't care about it at all. There's a lot of people like that. And is it a bad thing? Social standards, yes. To you, no. You care about your own self, and it's a normal thing. It's just not a good thing. The other stuff a part of it is like self-worth. It's a good thing to have self-worth. It's not a bad thing. So somebody telling you have an ego is basically just saying that you value yourself a lot more than other people, which isn't a good thing, and it's also not a bad thing. And that doesn't mean in like an entire I'm wording this pretty badly. I do apologize. But if somebody were to tell you you have an ego, normally it correlates to self-worth, self-importance, and all that stuff. The only time it's really bad is when you're vocalizing your opinion and not caring about other people's opinions. But if you just care about yourself, that is literally just having an ego. If you don't care about yourself at all, there's probably other aspects of having an ego.
I feel like twos is definitely more fun. Yeah, I was playing on autopilot for like half of those ones. Now I'm like actually trying to lock in, and it's like more frustrating. But I'm like trying to sharpen the mental. Oh yeah, I'm dead. I'm not very good at following up with a great sword. I'm not good at following up in general, but great sword, okay.
think I did it at too low. Oh shit. We didn't see that. I'm gonna try to pick up this DV, so you're not in a 1v2. Great sword and gauntlets is foul. Yeah, I've learned some cool inputs on hammer so far, and I'm only like an hour into the coaching, and I've improved a lot. He's only just starting, so I'm waiting. Definitely think I'll be diamond by the end of the season. Like 2100 is my vision. But I think I'll be at the end of the coaching. So I'm like actually putting effort into it. It's not like I'm just like listening and letting it go the other year.